When you're attached to a mooring, like, you're always thinking about those lines and any weird noises in the middle of the night. Nothing bad ever happened, but it absolutely could. She takes care of us. And I've never been aboard a boat like that. Her name is Thunderchild, but really she's the mom around here, for sure. It's kind of amazing that we managed to get to and from the boat in all kind of weather last year without any problems, but I think we were both very cautious. But that being said, we're not infallible. I guess it's just pros and cons. Like, you gotta weigh them, and if it's worth it for you to winter on board, as far as like saving money goes, I could understand that. But at a certain point, my happiness is worth more than saving a little bit of money, so. My name's Haley. I'm the first mate aboard SV Thunderchild. I'm a tattoo artist for over a decade. Thunderchild is a William Atkins design that was built in Vancouver on Dead Man's Island in 1969 to 1971. She was built by Andrew and Melinda Okulich. I had the pleasure of meeting them, and you'll see that in a previous episode. But she is cedar, strip plank, 2 inches, and she's 41 feet length overall. She's a traditionally rigged gaff catch, for those if you're nasty. Yeah, she's a 50-year-old boat, and we've had her for just over a year now at this point. Every time we have a big moment, been taking Polaroids of them, and ourselves too, and we took a photo from the day that we moved in. We looked at the date, and it said October 28th is the day that I moved in, and it was October 27th, and we were gonna move out the next day, so exactly a year I'd lived on Thunderchild.
We went the whole time, hand pumping water and no electricity, just little lamps here and there that we were powering off of random sources. So we're a lot further set up for general day-to-day life, but we don't have any of the amenities or niceties that you'd expect in a home. We couldn't be happier with having a boat this size and this comfortable and cozy inside. She just takes care of us. My name is Barry Collins, and I am better known as Sailor Barry on the internet.
This winter, we're not wintering aboard. Last year we wintered on a mooring and very, very marginally at a dock in Sailboat Bay. I wouldn't do it. I don't think the winters are worth it. I think the summer and spring and fall is beautiful, but unless you're really well set up and you have electricity, your solar's not going to keep up in the winter. So that means multiple systems will go down. The winter storms around here are pretty aggressive. And when I have to work 4 days a week off island, it's really hard to maintain a routine or a sense of normalcy or just like feel good enough to really do well at my job. So it just, in the Pacific Northwest, I don't think it's necessarily sustainable. Well, it wasn't for us. It does take a lot of effort, and I think the first year is obviously going to be the worst for it, because like that's kind of like you're going to encounter every single problem.
We rent space here in Sailboat Bay. It's in a part of the abandoned shipyard, so we have a very large space that inadvertently also behaved as a safe place for all of us in the thick of winter. And without something like that, if you don't have a home to go back to, having something like what we call the wrap shop, a haven to fall back on, because it's hard to work on your stuff out at sea all the time.
It is a good example of the rarity of a third space that like very rarely exists for people in the city, but having a space where people can gather that doesn't cost them money. Because like we don't have the money to go out for beers or to go to restaurants. Also, it's very limited out here. Yeah. So having that, it's a convergence spot where everyone can go and feel safe, kind of exists. Would recommend boat life in the winter. Would not. Too hard. If you look back, I feel like posterity, if you look back to when I moved here, how cute I looked compared to the last couple episodes. She looked haggard though. It's amazing how good a nice hot shower makes you feel in the winter, or even just being clean. Like last winter, there was a really big storm, lots of snow, the power went out, everything was frozen. I didn't shower for 8 days, and I was sick, and I have never been that miserable in my entire life. But at the same time, it wasn't anyone's fault, so like, but I just remember like laying in bed and crying. But I was just like, we're in this, like I'm in this, like I'm not, like we could have rented an Airbnb for a night, but like that's money that we just didn't have. I was still getting set up in Nanaimo, like I moved my entire business. It takes a while. So yeah, I mean, in hindsight, if we had more money, that would have been easier because we would have just gotten more time at the docks. But we didn't have a safety net. I guess have a safety net of finances. Like you're trying to save money, but you inevitably need to spend money here and there. But
This is the exterior of Thunderchild. Yeah, so back here is the cockpit. She is operated with a tiller, just like every other William Atkin boat design that I've ever seen. She has a flush deck, which means the interior is wide open, which is awesome. And then she has a little lowered forecastle peak up there, which is where I put the new hatch and where we tend to chill out and relax the most when we're underway with the autopilot on. But here we got our diesel tanks on both sides, propane tanks there, and then we've got an aft lazarette. I built that hatch. And yeah, all of this is traditionally laid teak decking. Engine is below here. That's a little access hatch to get access to it. This is our little Dodger setup so that we can get in and out of the boat and have somewhere nice to sit during foul weather days. And then up here we've got big exposed flush deck, and it just goes and goes and goes. Here's our chimney. And then right now for the winter, just the slow leaks down, we have this cover on the bow. But go back and watch previous episodes to see what it looks like. She is traditionally rigged, so we do have a gaff up here and we have a boom down below, and all the sails are a beautiful tan bark red, which is charming as hell. She's got nice little beautiful details like bronze vents on the dorite boxes. It's pretty hard to beat, and she's a gaff rigged ketch, so we got the mizzen back here. It's the smaller of the two masts, and this one is rigged Marconi style or classic sailboat style as you see nowadays. And because of the way she's rigged, we have 2 forestays up here, so we're able to fly 2 additional sails up here. So in total, we can put up 4 sails, which is awesome. So yeah, there's not a lot to this boat. It's pretty straightforward. You got a galley over here. We've got a chart table here. Big wraparound C-shape dinette area that you're seeing here. A big couch right here, which is great. Our fireplace, lovely having that really close to the bed. Without the wood stove, we would have been without any heat source on the boat. She's a pretty small wood stove, but she does the trick quite well. Couple logs in there and this boat is roasting. We regularly get it up to like 23, 24 degrees in here. The head is right there, and then the V-berth up front, and that's where we sleep. So if we have guests aboard, this whole section turns into a gigantic queen-size bed, which is awesome. And this is another berth, and then there's 2 more berths up front, so we could sleep 5 people at least, but I don't suspect we're going to be doing a lot of multi-person cruising on this boat. It's kind of just Haley and I's home.
great, you have your boat on a mooring at some marina, but like if you don't have a partner, say you're on your own, you don't have community at that marina, so you're spending all your time on your boat in the winter, or maybe you're going to work and seeing your people, but like if you don't have the community, I think everyone would have fared way worse. Get all your firewood, fucking make sure you have batteries charged somehow in the winter, get water, and feed yourself, and stay, like there's just so many things that you have to do, and if you fall back on one of them, like immediately they start to pile up really fast. Yeah, I don't know, that's the thing I noticed is when we didn't get firewood, we'd also run out of water at the same time, and like And then, not having 2 of those things is horrible. I mean, firewood is a non-negotiable if you have a wood-burning stove in a boat. But I mean, granted, most people with fiberglass hull boats are going to have a diesel heater, which would be easier, unless your diesel heater fucking catches on fire like Ed's did the other day. So you have to have a deep understanding of your systems and your boat and yourself. Honestly, I think there's not really a comparable mode of travel, except for maybe having an RV on land. I think that could be a very similar experience. Like, you still need to dump your septic, you still need to fill your water tanks, like, but there's the added element of the water. You're not going to drown on land. Like, you're not going to fall and then, well, I mean, you could fall and kill yourself, but like, likely you trip, you're not just going to drown. I don't know, being at the docks is easy when you have electricity. Like, if you have a heater going, if you have lights on, your morale is instantly way higher than if you're sitting in the dark and you're cold. I definitely don't go shopping ever, unless it's like intentionally to buy one thing to replace something that's broken. You just can't be buying stuff regularly. Even just the amount of stuff I got rid of to come into here. I mean, I used to enjoy just like buying things online, or like if I wanted something, I just get it. But like now, if I want to get something, I have to really consider where it's gonna live, because it's probably gonna be on the boat for like at least 6 months. So can't, like, even a hair dryer and like stuff, like we didn't have electricity to power a hair dryer, so I like just didn't. I dry my hair by the wood stove, and like, yeah, that's fine. But for most women, that would be kind of hard, you know, not being able to wash your face. So I got like some micellar water, and I just use like a towel, because like we didn't always have water everywhere, not a drop to drink, right? Like, it's the classic problem. It just doesn't feel as clean when you have like, when you're at a house and you have enough, like tons of water coming out of tap, where you have, or here when you have to hand pump a little bit of water every time. Like, yeah, I noticed like the water usage, we have to be really, really careful, and you'd be surprised like how much water it actually takes to keep things clean, to keep yourself clean. That's the struggle, but that's the thing, that's easy for us to fix. We just need more water tanks, so.
Yeah, it comes with its whole swath of its own problems living aboard in winter, but that gave us a really good blueprint for moving forward. I do recommend living aboard, because it will immediately inform you all of your weak points in your boat. It would have for sure been way harder than without the community we built around ourselves, because without those people, everyone, we would have just struggled so much more, and I don't know that we would have come out the other side with smiles on our faces. It was so hard. It's very exposed living like this. Yeah, here I'll show you guys the engine room. This is the companionway stairs. They come out, and then, yeah, and then you just pull that open. Then you got access to the engine room. There's a couple things that go on in here. I'll give you guys a quick look. A little dark and grimy in here, but over here we've got the house battery, or we've got the start batteries. And then up here, right there where you're looking, is our battery switch for the engine that turns off and on power to the starter. Inside here we got a Susie. She's a sweet little motor. She could use a paint job, but she is in phenomenal condition. Overall, everything is really well set up. Dry exhaust, so there's nothing really crazy to worry about. And I think this is an discussed feature on boats that I think all boats should have. This is a mechanically powered, you can see there's a belt leading to it right there, a mechanically powered bilge pump. So it's on a clutch. I just pull this, and now the clutch is engaged, so as the motor spins, this bilge pump spins, which sucks from the lowest part of the boat. So if we had something catastrophic, I would just come down here, flick that on, and as long as the motor is running, we have a 58 horsepower bilge pump. The motor has been well maintained and very low hours, so she's a winner that way for sure. We literally just get to do plumbing from scratch. We get to do electrical from scratch. And I do think that is substantially easier. It's like they say about restoring boats, right? Like it's easier to build a boat than it is to restore a boat, because if it's a really big restoration, you're having to rebuild that whole boat with a boat in the way. Yeah, so she's going to transform. So you guys will get to see, we'll do another boat tour at the in spring when we're all finished, and you guys can see the before and the after. This is the before video, so that'll be cool. One of the biggest things that this boat is lacking is the ability to go offshore. If our plates are just sitting on a counter, as they have been since we got this boat, that means when the boat tips over, they can go crashing everywhere. So we're not ready for going offshore yet, but that's another big part of the winter refit, is adding shelving throughout the whole galley. I hope I'm going to add a dishwasher, brand new sink, all those things, brand new countertop. So that's going to be a big chunk of what I'm getting up to this winter. So yeah, here in the galley, like you're here, you're cooking, prepping over here. It's pretty straightforward, pretty simple kitchen setup. This sink is going to come out, this is going to come out. From the day we got it, it's been held in with duct tape, which means it leaks down below, which means these cupboards all get destroyed. So big redo to happen here. And ever since we got the boat, we've been running on just hand power for our water pump. So yeah, underneath here, we have all the food storage that we need down there, which is great for dried goods. Underneath here, I have all my Makita power tools, woodworking tools down here, rigging tools, all that sort of stuff. And down here, I have all my mechanical tools, which is awesome to have because we do have a 58 horsepower Isuzu that does need regular maintenance. So that's one of the things that you really need to focus on if you're getting a boat with a motor in it, is making sure you're well set up. So thank you for coming along for this boat tour. If you guys have any questions or if there's anything else you'd like to see, let me know and I'll try and include it in some more upcoming videos. And wanted to say thank you very much to all of our patrons, because without you guys, none of this would be possible. Thank you to John for the microphones. Thank you to Nicholas for the gimbal I was just using. You guys are making a huge difference in our production quality, and we really, really appreciate it. Every little bit helps. Thanks for watching. And yeah, stay tuned for next week's episode. It's going to be a real zinger, so I'm excited for it. And yeah, thanks again for watching. Stay tuned, and winter restorations are coming. Have a good one.